This is Yohhamgambal. We're back playing Shin Megami Tensei Digital Devil Saga. Last time we were taking on the secret bosses. We had just defeated King Frost and Beelzebub's human avatar, and now we are heading into the sewers in the Marlborough base to find the next secret boss. This is a pretty long area, so it's pretty long. So I thought while we're waiting for this long, it's about like 15 minutes, even with some cutting out. It's a fairly lengthy area. Oh, really quick though, we have a new enemy here. These are Liams. They're actually from Jewish folk tales, Jewish folklore, and they're children of Lilith and Samael. Samael being the angel of death, and Lilith being the first woman made by God, along with Adam, if I'm correct. They're similar to succubuses, but they're not quite like succubuses. I don't think they eat this. I don't think they drain the souls of males. Of male energy, but they're similar enough, I guess. But they're also believed to kidnap children, because if I remember correctly, Lilith would also kidnap children. So the fear was that Liams would also kidnap children and bring them to Lilith. I think Lilith lived on an island, and for some reason I want to say the island of Lesbo, but I don't know if that's correct. I've always heard the island of Lesbo, but I've never really looked into it. But I think that's kind of that's my general knowledge of it. I didn't look into Lilith yet because there's no Lilith in this game, unfortunately. But they void earth and they're weak to ice. They're pretty damn easy. This place isn't going to be much of a challenge except for the boss, because my levels are pretty damn high. This place gives you access to the magical area called Titania Hallway. And Titania Hallway has, I've mentioned this 1,000 times and I'll mention it again, Titania Hallway has nothing but Titanias, and they give a lot of experience, a lot of Atom, especially if you eat them. With the AP divide and then the Atma bonus, you can share it with all your comrades and get like some of the harder mantras. Like every time you eat them, you can get like a third of it done. It's really insane how much you can get. You can level up so ridiculously fast here than anywhere else. They drop a good amount of money, and sometimes they call for backup from an enemy. I don't think we fought him yet. Yeah, an enemy we'll fight later. All the enemies here can call for backup from an enemy. That can be a little tricky to kill because he has an instant death move. But if you kill him, he has a chance to drop a cell that can give you a lot of money. And it's either him or Titania that can drop a vital cell, so that's really good to give to your characters too. But yeah, though, other than that, so I thought while we're waiting in this very long part of the game, excuse me, I've been wrestling with a cold for like the past 3 weeks. I thought let's go ahead and go over the story, what we know, and I'm going to try and not spoil anything because I obviously know what's going on. I obviously know what's going on, but I thought it'd be a good time to recap. So, in the game, we take place in a world called the Junkyard, constantly raining, and there's, I think, 5 other tribes. So let's see, there's the Embrons, which are us, the Wolves, the Vanguards, the Solids, the Marbles, and the Brutes. So there's 6 groups, including us. And the goal is to defeat all the tribe leaders so that we can head to Nirvana, which is apparently in the middle of which is being issued from the middle of the tower, which tells us that we need to go to Nirvana. The game, and so we don't know how long this war has been going on, and we don't know if there were maybe even other tribes beforehand. It doesn't sound like there were, but so the mission, as I said, is to defeat all the tribe leaders. We got that. And then when you defeat the tribe leaders, their tribe members will follow the tribe leader. These are the laws and the rules, and everyone follows by them. And there doesn't seem to be any way to break them that we knew of at the moment, until an event happened where we were fighting the Vanguards in a place called Ground Zero, where a giant incubator egg-like object appeared, and the Embrons thought that the Vanguards summoned that item, while the Vanguards thought the Embrons summoned that item, both groups asking the other to get rid of the item or whatever. And then when that item opened up, the egg opened up, a stream of light came out, hitting all the characters in the chest, all the characters that were on Ground Zero, but also seeming to affect everybody within the Junkyard. And this light hitting in particular places, and wherever that hit seemed to cause an emblem to appear, some type of tattoo. And then all the characters transformed and started eating each other on the ground zero. So that's what we know, right? That's what we know in the starting. And then eventually we went to the temple. We eventually first went to Harley, the Vanguard leader, to find out what was happening. He didn't know. He just said that we ate everybody. And during that time, characters' eyes started to light up and change color, matching their hair. The first being, the first lighting up being Argilla, who seems to be more compassionate, and then Heat, who seems to be more brash. Even though technically I think the first character that actually have their eyes change color is our main character, but he doesn't have any sort of characteristics or emotions that we know of in the game. So he, I think, technically is the first character to change his eye color, at least in our group that we saw. And then other than that, though, Harley doesn't know what's going on, just that we ate everybody. And then eventually we go back to the base, where we meet Gale, who has transformed into his avatar tuner form and is trying to eat Celio, but is rescued by Sarah, the girl who was inside of the egg at Ground Zero. So Sarah obviously is super important that we know of, and consistently throughout the game she is referred to as the Cyber Shaman. And we just recently found out that she seems to have some type of control over this world, because she can calm down characters who have gone into a berserk hunger state, only to a certain degree. She can only stop them from going too far, because once they seem to reach a certain level, it seems like she cannot heal them. There's a point of no return, but if she can sing to them beforehand, she can heal them. And apparently, a lot of the characters have heard this song before, but don't know where. And that's another main characteristic we know of this world. A lot of the characters know about things that don't exist in this world, such as children, parents, a boat, ocean, castles, amusement park, etc. So they know of things that they have never seen. And of course, the reason for that being, apparently, this is some type of afterlife that we have learned about from Varen, who keeps referring to himself as a Commander Beck. And he's saying he definitely seemed to have a lot of knowledge about what's going on, and it seemed to be that this world is some type of afterlife, whether it be a purgatory or possibly a hell, but definitely not a heaven. But it seems the place that the characters were in before they died or whatever were somehow transferred over to the junkyard, were once in Nirvana. So Nirvana seems to be a different place, but we don't know where that place is. We don't know if our main characters are dead, if they've transferred over to a different realm, if this is some type of, we don't know what it is. Oh, really quick, let's discuss those enemies real quick. Those are Sati. Those are Hindu. They're from Hindu mythology. It's a goddess born. So originally she was a goddess born as a human, at Brahma. A goddess born as a human at Brahma. So a deity that creates universes in Hinduism. So she was created from Brahma, if I'm reading this correctly. And she was to marry Shiva, who is one of the three principal deities. But Sati's father was disapproving of the marriage, so she committed suicide pretty much, and praying to be reborn as a new person. And she actually was reborn as a Parvati, and she's actually an enemy that will usually appear next to Sati, and she's actually that pink enemy right next to her. But interesting enough, though, Sati also is an Indian practice where it's a practice meaning a virtuous women, where women, recently widowed women would throw themselves onto the husband's funeral pyre to prevent them from being a burden on the family, which is why Sati also has black clothing and possibly the fire representing, I don't know, death, but the black clothing representing of mourning. But she reflects expel, absorbs fire, and weak to ice. Excuse my sniffling, I'm sorry. And then the other enemy that was next to Sati was Parvati, goddess of love and the second consort of Shiva. So, as I said before, Parvata is the reincarnation of Sati. But Parvata is the daughter of the snow mountain god, Himalayas. But eventually she was reunited with Shiva, and they had a child named Kartikeya, which is the embodiment of perfection and god of war. Okay, those enemies that we're looking at right now are important too, but Parvati, interesting thing about Parvati, she can actually fuse with Shiva to create a half-man, half-female deity called Ardna. And they did this because they loved each other so much, to such a deep extent, they never wanted to be apart. So they would rather be fused together at all times, to never be separate. But she reflects expel, voids force, charm, mute, and is weak to ice, just much like her previous after form. So the enemy we're fighting now, and this enemy can actually be called from when you defeat enemies in this dungeon. There's a chance that they will call for a backup, and these are called Arhikabaka. They're ancient Japanese aboriginal gods from the Kofun period. So that's 250 AD to 538 AD. And they're gods of travelers in northeastern regions of Japan. But for a long time, they were actually banned and considered a symbol of treachery, rebellion, and heresy because they were being worshipped by the Nagasu Inoko, which was an enemy of the Emperor Jimmu, who is supposedly, according to legend, the first emperor of Japan. But they void physical, gun, fire, electric, force, earth, death, ailments, and they resist Almighty. But their only weakness is ice, and you really want to use if you remember correctly, we got a mantra from defeating Jack Frost, and one of the spells you can learn is called like a Kafuna. I don't remember exactly what it's called, but it's a spell that hits all enemies on the field, and it does medium damage. But what's really good about it is it has a very, very high rate of freezing, so when you freeze them, you can then physically attack them, and that's the best way to deal with them. And they usually will drop cells, a really good cell to sell, and they can also drop vital noise, if I remember correctly. It's either them or Titania. But yeah, so that's that. So I'm trying to think though, what was I talking about before? So as I was saying, Colonel Bleck, Varen, which was the last tribe member we beat, definitely had a lot of knowledge about us. And interesting enough, the first time we saw his eyes change color was when he saw Surf, and he seemed to be super pissed, and in fact blamed Surf and Sarah for the hell that they're in currently, being the junkyard. And also mentioned in a very interesting point that Argello was the first to be devoured, and that he has died before for Sarah. So, there's definitely a lot of history there that we don't know of at the moment. But yeah, though, he definitely seemed to know Angel, which was, if you remember correctly, when we first went to the tower, we were greeted by an eye surrounded by nails, calling herself Angel, explaining what demons were, what mantras were, and Atma, and how it's like the essence of a demon, and how we need to devour each other to get to Nirvana. But Colonel Bleck, though, definitely knew who she was, and she was surprised that he was aware of who he used to be and who she was. So that's really important, too. Sorry if it sounds jumbled. This is just all going off the top of my head of everything we know. And I don't know if there's anything else. So, and apparently, though, after beating Colonel Bleck, it definitely seems like Sarah has regained her memory and knows what's going on, about what's going on in the junkyard and why everything is like the way it is. But we're supposed to be chasing Sarah right now, obviously, but we're fighting secret bosses because secret bosses are fun to fight. And yeah, because after this part, the next part is going to be really long because we're going to... well, no, that's the part after that, sorry. After this part, we will go to the tower and finally chase Sarah. But then we have to leave the tower to fight like 6 more secret bosses. And then there's another secret boss, but that's going to be a bonus episode because it's kind of a short part because I had to edit down a lot of the monotonous stuff in it. But we will fight them again. Anyways, though, we finally made it through the end of this. dungeon. So it took a bit of time, but that really allowed us to kind of recapture what was in the story. So anyways, as you can see, my main character has fire on because the enemy we're going to be fighting has a lot of resistances, but fire is not one of them. And you really need to make sure that you're ready for this fight because I barely make it through. And anyways, we are facing Beelzebub once again, but this time, not his avatar form, but his beast form, his true form. Which, of course, as mentioned before, I'll read it again real quickly. Beelzebub being the Lord of Flies, thought to sometimes is usually synonymous with Satan, although in some stories he is Satan, sometimes he's not. It really just depends. This fight is extremely hard. Even though I was pretty ready, this fight is extremely hard and can really go badly really quickly. So right now I'm really just trying to debilitate him as much as I can. I was being really stupid in this match because I forgot to give... for whatever reason, I didn't get Gale to learn resistant electricity, so he's still weak to electricity. So that did make this fight a little harder, but I do beat it. But yeah, he's really hard. He is very hard, but I would definitely recommend debilitating him whenever you can, and also giving yourself evasion up because he loves to use physical attacks, and any chance to dodge any magic is also really good. And we already have him down to his... I think I cut some out because that seemed to be really quick. Okay, anyways. So thankfully, Gale is avoiding like a champ, ducking and weaving. And as you can see, doing pretty decent damage. In the beginning, he's fairly tame. He doesn't do anything too hard in the beginning, but he'll eventually start breaking out the big guns. Because, like I said, he is an extremely hard boss, even when you're prepared. I gotta say, though, I absolutely love his design. He's one of my favorite Shin Megami Tensei design enemies in the game. I love his fly form. I think it's absolutely awesome looking. I love that he's a giant fly. I love the skull necklace around him. That's super cool. It's super dope. And I absolutely love that he has a skull and crossbone on his wings. There's something about that is just great. But you definitely want to make your evasion as high as you can, because it helps. But he will eventually get rid of all the stat bonuses I have and all the debuffs he has. So, like I said, in the beginning, he's fairly easy. But he will eventually get extremely powerful. He will really try and knock your block off. Yeah. So, of course, Mind Scream is always an annoying ability. It's a fairly strong physical attack, and it can cause stun, which makes your physical attacks miss. I don't think it affects your magic, but it affects your physical. That isn't too big of a deal on any of my characters because they're mostly just physical. They're mostly just magical attackers, so it's not too big of a deal. And we have Salvation, and I don't think I had that in the last part, but Salvation, because I did a lot of off-screen grinding, and I don't think we had Mind Charge in the last part either. So yeah, my Surf has Mind Charge, which does which basically doubles your magic, and Debilitate, which I don't think I had either. Debilitate lowers every stat, so his magic, his evasion, his attack, his defense. It's super good, but it's very expensive. And Salvation fully heals every character and also gets rid of every status ailment except for Bat, I believe. But I've never used it when I had Bat because obviously that's so early in the game, and unless you grinded like absolutely for hours, I don't know if it would get rid of Bat. It probably doesn't because that's a special status ailment, and I don't think it gets rid of Hunger either. I'm fairly certain it doesn't get rid of Hunger. But yeah, though, really just keep like my plan was really just to keep debilitating him, making sure my agility and accuracy were high so I could avoid any attacks, and just keep hitting him with Mind Charge and my strongest fire attack. Because again, he doesn't resist fire. He also can use Mind Charge, which is very dangerous because he has an extremely powerful Almighty attack, which can cause instant death. So here I cut out right here because I was getting interrupted and I had to do something. He's also doesn't have any resistance to electricity, and I think wind too. but he's resistant against everything else. So, yeah. And oh god, this music's so rocking. So he has this almighty attack, which isn't as bad as his other almighty attack, which is called Death Flies, which is a really cool attack, but very dangerous. So I cut out there because it's basically just me doing mind charge, healing, and just constantly attacking him. And I think he's almost dead, actually, because his eyes look a little different, if I'm recalling. Oh, and now he likes to use that move, and I should have put Expel Repel on, and then he'll do that, which is very dangerous. But I did have Null Death. I should have had a Null Repel, but I had Null Death, so which is super useful. It's another mantra that takes kind of a while to get, unless you do the Titania Hallway, but it's super useful. And yeah, this is when he starts powering up his own magic, so he can use Death Flies, which is a really strong almighty attack and can cause instant death. The instant death isn't a problem because we have Null Death, but the damage is pretty bad. But thankfully, though, Gale and Celio avoided it because my agility is so high at this point. And so yeah, just doing fairly good damage. So if you come prepared, this fight is a little easier, but even still, he can really turn the tables very fast because he is a really strong secret boss. He's not easy. And thankfully, though, you do get a reward for beating him. He's definitely worth beating. I think out of all the secret bosses, because like I said, because we're gonna fight one more secret boss in this part. So excluding the next one we fight, there's like 6 more after. There's like 7 more after that. I think if you need to because the other ones are really kind of a pain to get to because you have to go all the way through the rest of the story and then leave at the very, very last part, and then it's a pain in the ass, and I'll explain why when we get to it. But if you had to be a secret boss, this is a pretty good one because you get really good magic out of it. But you don't even really need to, because the funny thing is, the final boss is super easy for me to beat, because I beat all these other bosses that are way harder. The final boss was super easy to beat, not even that difficult, which, is what it is. I love this. I love the way that move looks, though. So there we go. See? As you can see, I was doing really well. And, the funny thing was, I started trying to revive them with the Revival Orb, which is an item you can buy from the shop, which is just a revival gem that never goes out, which is super good. At this point, I kind of, I was trying to revive them and bring them back, but then it just got to the point where he just kept killing them and killing them. I just eventually was just like, I'm going to lose, so I'm just going to keep attacking. And you'll see. It actually works out for the best. But yeah. Salvation is super good. Really expensive, but very good. I obviously put it on my main character because he has so much MP, he can waste it every now and then. Plus, it heals everybody. Yeah, he just keeps making his magic stronger, and then he uses Death Flies, which again is a very... Yeah, it's like, I think it's Mega Almighty damage. It's either Mega or High or Heavy. I think it's Mega Almighty damage. No, it's Heavy Almighty damage, I believe. So yeah, at this point though, I was pretty much just like, I'm gonna lose. I'm just gonna keep attacking him. But amazingly enough, though, it kind of worked out for me, as you'll see, because my main character's magic is so high that he can take a lot of hits, and I got lucky. I got so lucky there that he died. I don't know how. I got super lucky. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. So only Surf got the experience. And I started to put in the strength because I want him to, have better defense. And also into agility so that he can dodge attacks more. And there we go. With that, Beelzebub's beast or fly or whatever, I guess monster avatar, I don't know. He's done. And of course an enemy has to come and attack me. And I run away because I'm kind of weak, because I don't think I healed yet. Or if I did, I was just kind of done fighting. Yeah, so with that, that's another enemy down. And like I said, I also had physical resist, which is a super useful ability, which lowers the damage of physical attacks. So that's why Beelzebub's physical attacks weren't doing that much. But yeah, though, if you come at a reasonably high level, and with you have to have null death. There's no way you can get through the fight without it, because like I said, his magic attack where he summons the flies has a high chance of instant death. So I mean, along with the huge damage, you really need the protection, and he does that instant kill spell. So yeah, you need to be careful. You need to be very careful. And I think I go for that item. I was kind of debating on whether I should, and I was like, or do I? No, I don't. Okay, I was being a little lazy, so I apologize. I was just like, I beat Beelzebub, I'm good. Let's just leave. Whatever item over there is not that important. And it's not, because the real treasure is actually up through here. Look where we are. We're in our old base. Yep, and if you remember, those treasures that were in the middle of the floor that had broke before, that's where we're heading, because that's where we can get some very good items. We can get some very good items. I like the bass music, though. It's very calming after such an intense fight. So, yep, over here you get some good items. You get the Tyrant Skull, which is used to get you a new mantra. And that item right there is actually a bullet that's worth 200 damage. I forget to put it on my character, but it's really, 200 damage bullet. It's pretty impressive. So Murder Rock is just like the item we got from Beelzebub, his human avatar, which has but instead has a high chance of death on all characters. And the Tyrant Skull, when you put it inside the terminal, gives you the Priestess mantra, which allows you to learn. Death Flies. I think that's what I can't remember what his magic is called. His ultimate, magic attack, but it also lets you, I think it gives you Null Element. It gives you something really good along that. I don't remember exactly what it is, but we'll see. So yeah, though. So that's another really difficult secret boss down. That's not even the hardest one. We still have a lot harder, but thankfully though, the next secret boss we have is actually really easy if you have certain moves. And it's funny, I tried to go into the fight without using certain abilities, and I got my ass handed to me, so I went back and trained until I had my characters know those abilities, because without them, he's an extraordinarily hard boss fight, but when you have them, he is piss easy. That cat actually holds a lot more significance than you think. I don't think this is a spoiler, but the cat's name is Schrodinger. I believe that's how you pronounce it. And of course, anyone who knows what Schrodinger is the whole idea about, if I remember correctly, putting a cat inside of a box, and you don't know if the cat is dead or alive, but because you see it, it's like in a state of limbo where it could be dead or where it could be alive. I think that's how the theory or whatever, the whole idea works. I never really read up upon it. I only know about it from, just passing by in other videos. So I've never really done any intensive research into it, and maybe that's something I will do. But the cat's name is Schrodinger. And he actually does hold a little more significance in the second game. Obviously, he hasn't held a lot in this game. He did help Celio get out. He did help Celio escape the room he was being held in under Gale's orders. But other than that, though, he hasn't really done anything. But interesting enough, though, again, this is almost a spoiler, but it's not really. If you look at his collar kind of holds a big detail. I don't want to explain what it is, but just look at his collar. It's a very specific collar, and you'll kind of put the pieces together if you're like, oh, okay, so that's where that cat came from. So, yeah, okay. So now we have to go to the sewers once again. This time, though, in the Solids base. So if you remember that one room I passed by a long time ago that didn't hold any particular value because there wasn't any items or anything, there is now an entrance down below. Hey, don't take my skull. So now we have the High Priestess. I don't know why Beelzebub's mantra is called the High Priestess. There must be some historical... I don't know why it's called that. Maybe... The only reason I could possibly think that it has repel element. That's pretty good. The only reason why I could think that it might be called the priestess was because in let me see, I think it's Catholic. Yeah, in Catholic demonology, he is sometimes considered to be the first 3 angels to fall from heaven. And I don't know if when you're an angel, I don't know if you're sometimes given the title of priest. I don't really know, but I'm thinking because Catholic, there's priests and, they're in that religion, maybe that's why it's called the priestess. I mean, the priest. Again, not super sure. Any ideas why? Give me an idea. So, anyways, as you can see, I have a lot of theory cells because of all the Arihabaka, which is basically, funny thing is, it reminds me of the fusion, the DNA fusion Digivolve form of Armadillomon and was it Patamon? Patamon, Armadillomon and Patamon's champion form. So Angelmon, and I don't know what Armadillomon's champion form is called, but it's basically just their DNA fusion form, because that's what it was. It basically was that, except it was white. It's really weird. I don't know if it's as weird though as Hawkmon and Godomon's fusion. That one was really weird too. I don't remember a lot about Season 2, but I do remember that... excuse me, my nose again. So anyways, here we are again. I just cut to where the area was. I don't think there's a Titania hallway here. Not that you need one, because you just need to go back to the Marbles sewer. This place isn't nearly as long as I believe. I think it's still a little bit. There's still some pathway to go, but I don't think it's nearly as long as Beelzebub's level. But yeah, though, I do leave this place to train, because if you don't have the right set of abilities, this place, the boss here will kick your ass, like hardcore. With the abilities, he's super easy. Without them, he is a beast. I don't know if you're like, maybe if you're like level 99, you could take him on, but his whole thing is like, we'll talk about it when we get there. I don't want to spoil it, but yeah, he's a lot of fun, I tell you. Delicious tea. I love mint tea. Anyways, though, this is the last time that we will have to... Is this the last time? I think this is the last time we will have to go into the sewers in this game. So that is nice. No more stinky sewers. But, yeah, though, that's good. Not really sure what I'm doing. Oh, dismute. Yeah. Yeah, though, it's funny, though, how the, final boss of this game, like I said before, I have already recorded... well, maybe I didn't say yet. I have recorded the final part already. But that's like maybe 3 parts away, because, yeah, so I think this is, like, part 11. And so, like, the final part's going to be, like, part 14. And then there's a bonus episode after that, because we are fighting, like I said, an extraordinarily difficult secret boss. But I didn't really want to put it before the final boss, because it's only like 8 minutes long. But I didn't want to I wanted the final, the final boss to have its own, its own video. So I was just like, we'll make it a bonus video, why not? So it all works out fine. But you do have to beat it before you go to the final boss. But yeah. So thankfully, though, it looks like I'm going the right way. I just kind of sideline all the items, because I honestly don't care too much. I mean, it's like the final stretch of the game. Anything I need, I can buy. I mean, finding Somas would be nice, but I have Salvation, which is basically all I need, which is so useful. Of course, I mean, Salvation doesn't heal you from, doesn't heal your MP, but Somas don't heal your status ailments, so, kind of a trade-off. It looks like I did go the wrong way, and I got more items, which is fine. Oh, Magic Noise is actually useful. Of course, that raises your MP by 10, I believe. No, it raises your magic. Yeah. And I don't give it to Surf because, well, his magic is already all the way up, and it would be completely useless. So I just give it to Gale. Doesn't really matter. I'm trying to think who I use for the final fight. Okay, yeah. Anyways, Logic Cell. Nothing happened. The funny thing is, even with the spray, that makes enemies not appear so often, you still get bombarded with a lot of enemies. And unfortunately, we can't go. So on the other side of that door is where we need to be for the boss of this area. But the door is too broken. Even though I think he could easily push that door down with his fist. Or why don't we have Gale use a whole bunch of wind to blast it open? That's always the funny thing about some games. Like, you'll come across, that's one of the things that's always like, I wouldn't say immersion breaking because I'm not like one of those people who are like, oh, my immersion's broken. I don't, it's kind of interesting because when I think of, I don't know if I've ever really, I'm trying to think of the time I've ever been immersed in a game, but I don't know, because I don't think that that I'm not immersed in games, but I don't know if it's to the same extent that other people, because I'm just like playing a game and I'm having fun and that's kind of it. I don't know if I ever, that's something maybe I'll have to think about on my own sometime. Anyway, so yeah, though, I don't get why Gale though doesn't. Well, I guess there's my immersion right there. I don't get why Gale doesn't just punch the shit out of that door, or like I said, Gale used wind and blast it open, or even Argilla used some earth magic. Maybe earth magic wouldn't be the best use though here in the sewers, because I don't know. Maybe that might make something fall down. But yeah, though. Oh well, that's fine. We get to go through it makes us go to the dungeon and see all the fun things here. So, yippee on that. Yippee. Yeah, this place isn't too bad. This place is not nearly as long as Beelzebub's. So that's good. But yeah, though. Nothing else really to talk about. Surprisingly, the sewer is really clean. But that's probably really because now that I think about it, there's not really that many characters in not the graveyard, I'm sorry. That's a different RPG, the graveyard, in the junkyard. Yeah, there's not really that many characters. Except for maybe, yeah. I do find it interesting, though, how, the characters really start gaining emotion. Oh, here's a new enemy. These are, Ongi Yoki, and these creatures are said to be the original creator of ninjutsu, and they're very much like their brothers, which are the other key enemies. They're controlled by the Fujira no Chikoto family. What's interesting about these guys though is they absorb ice, fire, electric, reflect death, they void, expel elements, but they're weak to guns. I think they're one of the few enemies in this game that are weak to guns. Other than that, though, they're really easy because what they'll do is they'll just, like, the only time they're actually kind of dangerous is when they combo together to use Mega Dolan. But other than that, though, they can only use, like, the most basic of spells. Like, the first level of fire, they can only use, like, Zao. So they're, like, they only have level 1 elemental spells. They're really easy once you just get rid of one. But like I said, they do, obviously use all element. They, can absorb all elements, so you do need to be careful about that. I was trying to see if I had any item, and I don't know why I did that, because they reflect death. Nothing really matters, because we have, yeah, but it's okay. It wasn't, see, yeah, he can use Agi, but that's it. They can use Last Word, though, but I don't know if their magic is just really bad, or it's probably just because Surf's magic is so high, he has such great defense from it. But Last Word is a really strong single attacking almighty attack, so it's kind of weird. But yeah, they look really cool though. These guys are actually really good though, if I remember, in Persona 5 though. When you get them as your persona, they're really good. Give me that critical. Nice. Yeah, so upgrading that physical was kind of nice. And then just execute him. See, I don't understand why you couldn't break through that door. Oh, but we got a Soma. So again, that's nice. Yeah, I think I use some of the Soma for the secret bosses, but I definitely don't need them for the final. I don't know how many times I'm going to have to say that to myself. The final boss, pretty damn easy. Funny enough, though, because when I was fighting the boss again, when I was playing through it, like, my third time the game. But by then, because I was playing a new Plus game, I had, like, some of the strongest almighty spells in the game, but they didn't do a lot. It was really kind of funny. It'll make more sense when we get to there. But, yeah. I think that was the last new enemy of this part, except for the boss. Anyways, though, you had to go a specific route here, and I had a map for it because it's really kind of annoying. Because otherwise, you will get stuck here, and it's pretty annoying. This maze is actually fairly long, though. You have to go through like 15 different hallways. It's actually fairly long, and yeah, it's actually kind of confusing. Unfortunately, though, like I said, I had to leave this place to go do some extra grinding. There is no large terminal to transport to. There's only a small terminal, so I had to redo all this again. It's not a huge deal because, you know, the map shows you exactly which way to go, so it's nice. But after this, though, I believe we are right next to the boss because he's like right there once you pop out, or he's just like a couple minutes away, so it's pretty easy. I hate the parts though when they have like 2 on the east side, so you have to be like northeast. So it's the very top northeast, not the bottom. I guess that would be northwest. No, north-south. I'm sorry. Yeah. But just gotta keep going. Whoa! Got water in my undies. Thankfully, we got that water tank, even though I don't know where it is. But oh well. Too bad we don't have an avatar tuna. Too bad none of our comrades are an avatar tuna that can like be a fish. I mean, I guess Celios is kind of a fish. I mean, it looks like a fish, kind of. I feel like because he's so aerodynamic, he would also be very water dynamic. What is the water term for aerodynamic? Because obviously aerodynamic is something that is easily able to go through the air with very little resistance. Would it be aqua dynamic? What is the term for a water? Something that's very efficient underwater. I don't actually know. I'm kind of curious. Maybe that would be great for some trivia. Does anyone know the term for something that's super good underwater? I do, my good man. It's aqua dynamic. Good for you. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. And more enemies try and stop me. Don't know why. I mean, I basically just defeated Satan's right-hand man. What the hell do you think you guys are going to do? Actually, they can do a lot because sometimes, you know, they can be really annoying. Even at a high level, you do have to be fairly careful because if you're being stupid, you can, like I do occasionally, because I don't always remember what everything's weak against. Actually, most of the time, I don't remember what most things are weak against. I only know a couple of enemies' weaknesses. Oh, and we're at the end. And look at that! I wonder if that's the boss. So yeah, first time I fight him, I get my ass handed to him. Unfortunately, I kind of wasted a couple of I almost said cock. I said it now, but I meant chakra drops. Yeah, not cock drops. Excuse me. Chakra drops. I wasted a couple of them, but it's not a big deal. Anyways, though, I cut out my grinding because, like I said, first time I fight him, I get my ass absolutely decimated. He hands it to me on a silver platter. And I'm not sure what I'm doing here. I must be picking my nose or something. You know, sometimes after a long grinding session, you really just want to pick your nose. But yeah, though. I think... There we go. Okay, I'm not sure what I was doing there. I think I was just thinking. Sorry about that. So yeah. Anyways. So with that, as you can see, here's some of the grinding. You really want to have, oh, wait a minute. That's the... Is that the right one? I guess it is. You want to have, like no charm, no sleep. You definitely want no sleep and no mute because he'll, mute you. So what this boss likes to do, Orchi, or Yamata no Orchi, which is an 8-headed, tailed, serpent from Japanese mythos, slain by Susanoo, also known as the Great Storm Summoner, excuse me, brother to Amaterasu, goddess of the sun, in order to save Kushin Handaheim, and have her as his bride. So this enemy, what he likes to do is he likes to improve his physical, or he likes to improve his magical stats, and he gets 8 turns, so he's very dangerous. But he avoids physical, gun, fire, force, earth, elements, death, and expel. And then he tries to hit you with his magic once he's powered up. And he also likes to use status ailments, but he also has another move where he the real danger is what he'll do is he doesn't have a lot of MP. He actually runs out of MP fairly quickly. And when he's out of MP, he resorts to using a very weak Mad Rush attack. And at that point, you can just you can debilitate him as much as you want, and his stats just plummet, and you can't do anything about it. But then, so what he'll do is he'll try and mute you, and then he will try and steal MP. And what's dangerous is when you're muted, when you steal MP, you lose like twice, even 3 times as much MP as you would. So, like normally you'd maybe lose like 20 MP if you weren't muted. But if you are muted, he'll take like 200 MP. And then he just, yeah, it can be very difficult. So you really want to have no mute on yourself. But once you do that, though, he's very easy. If everyone has all mute, he has to resort to using Mad Rush. He cannot do anything else. And as you can see, he has run out of MP. Now, you have to be careful because even though Mad Rush is fairly weak, because he does get to attack 8 times, it can be a little dangerous. But as you can see, my characters are such good levels that it's not that dangerous. So you really have to attack him, though, with electricity and ice. But yeah, though, see? He can't do anything. And you can just debilitate him and weaken him, and then his Mad Rush does piddly damage. Piddly diddly widdly damage. And yeah, he can't even hit all the time. He'll miss. Yeah, when he misses, that just makes him lose his turns faster. And then just do, I don't know why I haven't started attacking him yet. But I beat him really fast, though. He gets his ass torn. His snake, Bootang, gets torn away. I think after this point, I start attacking him because there's no point in debilitating him anymore. He's already so weak, and he can't even hit all my characters. Yeah. He misses at least 1 every turn. Oh, nope, I'm still going for the debilitate. Okay, Yoham, I think he's good. Why don't you just start killing him? Okay, limit reach. Now kill him. So yeah. Now we can actually start doing some damage to him. But without the no mute, though, he can be very hard. Unfortunately, no mute is at the very end of one of the mantra lines, so it can be expensive and does take a while to level up. Unless, of course, you use Titanium Hallway. Wink, wink. But yeah, though, he's pretty much dead. There's nothing he can do. It's funny how he has so he has so little magic. You think he'd be a little tougher, but he's not. His Persona 5 mini-boss version of him was tougher than this. I mean, unless, of course, you don't have no mute. Then he's actually very tough. And I think I just attack him with magic because I forget if being void even... I think I could have attacked him, obviously, but I was just kind of worried that him being void physical, even when frozen, might mean that it doesn't work. I think it still does work, but I was just being overly cautious. Not that I need to be, because he's doing, like I said, piddly. Piddly diddly. I feel kind of bad for the snake thing. I mean, not super bad, but I feel a little bad. Because he's trying so hard, and yet he's just not... He's just not going to beat me. I think he has, like, maybe 1 more turn in him. And then I use Salvation just to be kind of a dick and really rub it in. It is kind of annoying, though that he has 8 turns. So you kind of have... I mean, it's kind of annoying because you have to wait for his animation and, you know... Yeah. He's a cool-looking enemy, though. I do like the way he looks. It's like a giant Hydra. And, oh, no, I think he has 1 more. I don't know how many. I think he's almost dead, though. Looks like he's kind of panting. But my timeline's almost up, so he must be pretty close to being dead. I love how he can't hit everybody. At least 1 person dodges. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, he's almost dead, you can tell. His heads are shaking. Ah, so close. Oh, got him. Electrocuted him. But he gives a decent amount of experience and a good amount of money. Nice. And what do I even put that in? Oh, vitality. Yeah, his vitality is almost all the way up. And with that, another secret boss is down. I don't think you get anything, though, for beating him, though. In the second game, I don't think you get an item for beating him, though. I actually kind of don't remember what you get for beating him, because you don't get a mantra. I think it's just kind of there just to beat him for fun. I think obviously you get some items, but I can't recall what you get. It must have not been that impressive since I don't remember. Yeah, honestly don't remember what you get from him. I don't think it's anything super useful. But, yeah, though, that broken door, we could have just skipped all that stuff and just went right to him if he just bulldozed the door. But, no, he didn't want to. But, fine, whatever. I mean, if that's what he wants to not do, then I guess I'm not going to force him. Just like how he forced himself onto Sarah. You know, I got to be an example for him. Oh, yes. Okay, actually, you know what? I take back what I said, because I'm a moron. You do get an important item from him. And it's how you fight a secret boss later on in the game. You need this item. But you don't get anything. So the item just allows you to fight a secret boss later in the game. That will fight, not in the next part, but the part after that. Because without it, the boss doesn't appear. But with it, he does. So you need it. I forgot that's what he does. So anyways, we are actually in the Brute's base. In their basement area. And when you climb all the way up, you can get an item. It doesn't do anything, but yeah. Anyway, so this is actually also a really good place to grind for magic noises. Not in this hallway, but in the very top hallway. Horses have a huge chance of appearing, and they have a very high chance of dropping magic noises. And the best way to kill them is use instant death magic. And then just keep instant death magicking them, and then there's a good chance they'll drop magic noises, and then you can just give them to your characters, and that's that. I didn't do it. I think I did in one of my files, but I didn't do it in this one. Because I didn't really need it. But it's looking at pictures. It's a good way, though, to get magic noises. But yeah, though, he's weak to instant death. So just use the dark instant spells, and there you go. But we gotta keep climbing. This place takes forever to get through. And I think we're almost there. No, oh, yep, okay. Good. Anyways, this is the hallway where you can find a whole bunch of horses. Just keep using Muda on him, and yeah, this kills him because he's weak to it. And yep, and there's horse right now. He's not too bad. I think I actually run away from him, though. I don't think I've ever showed you what the running away feature looks like. Oh, no, I fight him. Do I fight him? I don't remember what I do, honestly. Okay, so yeah. Oh, you know what? I didn't write anything about Horus, because I forgot he appeared in this episode. I'm so sorry. I think, from going off of memory, though, I think Horus is an Egyptian god. And he also can do Xanadu. I'm sorry for not writing that. I completely missed over the fact that he appears in this part, so I'm sorry about that. But I believe he's an Egyptian god. And I don't know anything else about him. Despite the fact that he can use Mabufdine, he doesn't absorb ice, which is interesting. But yeah, though, if you just use the instant death spell on him, he goes down because it's instant kill, because he's weak against it. But yeah, I think he is an Egyptian god, something over life. I'm not sure. Anyways, there's something in her hand, and you want to take it from this woman. It's a red wing. A red wing! A red wing. And this is an important item to help us fight a secret boss. A tag ring, which of course is those rings that all of our characters have. And if you go through this door, there is another item you can get. Just out here on the balcony. Back in Sarah's house. And it's just hilarious, so. But you know what, though? I'm going to end the video here. We will go ahead and chase Sarah in the next part. So this has been Yohhamgambal. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Okay, bye then.